Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Voice of Canada talk show. What a beautiful day it is. I am Sanjay Pava, editor in chief, TBC Group. My guest today is Mayor Patrick Brown. Patrick Brown is known for his connect with Brampton City. We are going to converse some important issues relating to Brampton City and COVID 19. Mayor Brown, glad to have you with us.
Great to be back on your show.
Yeah. So let me congratulate Mayor Brown and his team for all the successful initiatives being taken to safeguard the residents of Brampton City facing tough times during pandemic. So the challenges faced by the residents, you have been taking care of them very well. Your team is doing a wonderful job. So we really appreciate that.
Well,
Right?
it's a difficult period for everyone, but so proud of Brampton for stepping up and helping out. We're all in this together, and I think the fact is that there's been some remarkable generosity and togetherness in our community.
Yeah, that's right. So, Mayor Brown, how has your journey as the mayor of Brampton been so far?
It's been great. We've got a great council. We've got a great a team here at City Hall, and everyone's working their heart out to serve the city. We've had two tax freezes in a row. We're investing in recreation. I believe we have a council that's focused aggressively on economic development. It's been encouraging and rewarding. It's great to see success in the city.
So, what's the best part of your job?
Well, when you make a difference, you can see it. It's your own community. It's your own backyard. And so if you build a new park or you see a new business come to town, you drive by and see it, that's pretty meaningful.
So, that's really good. Mayor Brown has been always on toes, looking for all the residents, taking care of them very well. And what are you working on at the moment?
Well, right now, COVID has sort of taken front stage. We have to get through this pandemic before we can really get back to some of the bigger aspirational projects for the city. I think right now the province, the provincial government, the federal government, and the city are all focused on COVID. And until we get a vaccine, we're in a different world right now.
So, what do you think? How long is gonna take for the vaccine to come?
Well, I think that's anyone's guess. Projections are we're going to see it in 2021, but you can't set the speed of science.
So, as we are in stage three, so what framework do you think is ready for Brampton City?
So I believe we were ready for stage three. We've been in stage three now for a few weeks, and our case numbers are down. So I thought that was an appropriate decision.
So, what are the restrictions or any other implications you have made for the risky areas?
Well, a lot has been reopened under stage three. There are still some restrictions when it comes to long-term care facilities. We're looking at how they're going to handle schools, but for the most part, a lot of the restrictions were eased under stage three. We're still not going to see large events, but for the most part, we're gradually seeing things get back to normal.
So, COVID-19 pandemic is heading towards recovery. What significant steps are being taken to restart the economy?
Well, I'm not sure we're fully going to be at recovery until we have a vaccine. I think right now we've taken steps to protect the public, but in terms of recovery, I don't think we're going to see that in full swing until we actually get the vaccine.
Okay. So, COVID-19 is it has just taken the world for a six, and vaccine is the only cure which will get back all of us to the normal life. What are the existing and new challenges during stage three? Do you think that people of Brampton will emerge stronger than before?
Yeah, I believe right now in Brampton there's a lot of people who are adapting. They're creating online storefronts. They're becoming more digitally connected. And so there are some silver linings in COVID is that I think businesses are learning how to be more resilient and adapt.
All right. Okay. So, Patrick, as government has announced the safe reopening of schools for in-class instructions starting September 2020. But parents are a bit worried lot, they are scared, they are worried about their wards. So, do you think this is an appropriate step? As we elders, we are not even ourselves are not able to take that social distancing thing all the time. How do you think the kids, especially elementary, high school children, what will be able to take care of that social distancing and other things?
Well, ultimately, this will be a provincial decision, and so it won't be a municipal decision. Having said that, I hope the province weighs. There's two schools of thought. One, you need to have small class sizes to make sure that the spread is limited.
Okay.
But you also have prestigious hospitals like Sick Kids. Sick Kids Hospital said they did a research report that said that not having kids in school is damaging for their mental health, and that they recommended kids be back in school. And so right now we know that kids are of lower risk. We know that the research suggests that that it's not good for kids to be away from school for their mental health, according to Sick Kids Hospital. But I've heard concerns of public health agencies that they don't want to see classes of 30 or 25. We have to make sure that they're small classes. Okay. And so, I'm going to watch how the province rolls this out. And if we have concerns, we will voice them. But ultimately, this will be a provincial decision.
Okay. So, as government has decided to reopen the schools, it's all depends how we take our decision of taking our kids to the school. Peel School Board has asked for their decision from the parents whether they want their child to be back in school or not. So for that we have to wait and watch. And as the population of Brampton has increased tremendously, this requires the fastest growing transit system. Mm-hmm. What is your take on this?
I think it's great that we have the fastest growing transit system. It shows that if you build a modern transit system, people will use it. It's why we're going to continue to invest in our transit system with new buses, new routes, and new capacity.
Can you just elaborate the funding we are getting now?
So we just received some funding from the provincial and federal government. It's a good start, okay. But obviously we need them to come to the table in a much bigger way, given the size of Brampton and the interest there is in our transit system.
Okay. So we are going to talk about the grievances of residents of Brampton. So I would like to just elaborate and just ask you about those, like how you and your team is going to just take care of them. Basements or houses are being misused beyond the occupancy limit. A house meant for 4 is occupied by 8 or 12 or even more. So that's one. Vehicles with muffler silencers are on road, which creates a lot of noise, pollution, and scares other commuters. High-speed driving, breaking of bylaws by youngsters. Another common sight in Brampton is that students are usually seen standing in groups in city plazas, shouting, fighting, creating unpleasant scenes. As the mayor of Brampton, how are you dealing with such situations?
Okay, well, you've touched on a number of things there.
Yeah.
In terms of...
So let's start by number one. Let's talk about the basements or houses. They are being, misused. Why?
Yeah, so Brampton has raised the issue of illegal basement apartments. We're asking people to fall into the legal realm. The province doesn't give us the powers to force people to do so. We can only do it on a complaint basis. And so if you notice that there's an illegal basement apartment in your neighborhood, please file a complaint to bylaw, and we'll be able to go and ask them to have a proper apartment. But we don't have the tools to go and do spot audits. We don't have those investigative powers. But we are doing our best to clamp down on illegal basement apartments because it's a fire risk, it's a safety hazard, and we hope that people will be good citizens and know that we can't do. It's not fair to the tenants, and it's not fair to the city.
Okay, so for that, someone has to give you a complaint regarding the property is being misused. Mm-hmm. As per you. Right?
Yeah, call 311 and
okay.
make an official complaint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about the vehicles with the noisy muffler silencers? They are like creating quite a pollution and nuisance also.
Yeah, so the police is aware of that.
Are you just coordinating with the police as well?
Yes, the police are aware of that, and where warranted, there are mufflers that are allowed, and there's those that aren't allowed. I know
Okay.
there was charges laid last week, but ultimately we can't influence a police matter. They will determine whether it warrants charges or not.
And how about the high-speed driving? And they are creating so much of accidents, and recently there have been just so many deaths also.
So two things here. We set up with the Peel Police a project called Project Erase, where they've been doing speeding blitzes around the city to tackle reckless drivers. We also are putting photo radar in all the school zones in Brampton.
Okay.
So photo radar means that people are speeding, they're going to get a big fat ticket. And so those are two new tools that we've put into place to help deal with racing.
So how about the students, those who are standing in plazas creating nuisances, and like how you gonna just tackle that?
Well, there's no law against people standing in a plaza as long as they're consistent with the advice from public health.
The major concern is like they have been just fighting in the plazas.
Well, if there was an assault, the police would take it seriously, but there would be no criminal offense for standing in a plaza.
So if they create any nuisance in the plaza, city has no say on it.
No, ultimately, if there's a criminal code offense, the police would enforce it. But if it's young people horsing around, that would not be a criminal code offense.
Okay. So, Mayor Brown, the major point is crime and violence are escalating in Brampton City. How are you going to curtail it?
So right now, crime is actually declining this year. So we have obviously significantly less crime this year than last year. But we have to be mindful that there are gun and gangs throughout the GTA. We've got call volumes of domestic violence that have increased, and we have a chief of police focused on tackling those two scourges: gun and gang crime and domestic violence.
So, is there any coordination you have as city mayor with the police, Peel Police?
Well, I sit on the Peel Police Board, and
that's
so
good. Yeah.
I'm involved at an administrative level, not at an operational level, but I do speak regularly to the Chief of Police.
Okay. Mayor Brown, Brampton community has high expectations from you. How are you going to meet the expectations?
Well, I think Brampton community expects me to work hard and do my best for Brampton. That's what we're trying to do. Just make sure that we do well by this beautiful city, and there's so much potential in Brampton, and we think there's so much opportunity.
Oh, that's good. So let's get on to the next question. What will be your future strategy for the overall development of Brampton in the coming years?
Well, I think if I was to speak on a high level, I would say I have a preference for industrial and employment development over residential development. I think our focus needs to be on more job creators, and so when people come in and tell me about their designs or their plans for the land, I'm very clear that what interests me is to see new commercial employment development.
Recently, City of Brampton launched Support Local campaign. Can you please elaborate what is it?
The Support Local campaign is to encourage locals to support local businesses. It's been tough during the pandemic. Whether you're going to a local retailer or going to a local restaurant, please support these businesses right now. It's been a tough year. We're all in this together, and if have takeout, dine in, just support your local businesses.
Okay. So, what kind of products like you think that we have in production in Brampton City?
They have everything in production in Brampton. Everything is available. Whether you're looking for fashion, food, it's all available in the Flower City.
Oh, yeah. There's another question next coming up. Brampton is having a tagline of Flower City. How are you going to maintain it?
So we're the 9th largest city in Canada. Our growth rate shows that we will continue to grow and surpass the population of Mississauga. I think the key thing is to maintain the quality of life we have here. What's drawn so many people here, we need to maintain that quality.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So, what is Heritage Heights concept plan? You recently talked about it a few days back.
Yes, the Heritage Heights is one of the new subdivisions in the northwest of the city that has received approval from City Council.
Okay. So, the city has been under lockdown. So, how did you spend time during lockdown?
Well, I've been able to focus on keeping the city safe. I've been doing Zoom calls, WebEx calls. We've been able to do a lot of our work digitally.
Okay.
And it just shows you technology allows you to adapt.
Okay. So the work from home concept has been, given a big yes, and that has been like part of life now. That's called the new normal. That's we talk about, right? So, Mayor Brown, what questions do you hate to answer?
No questions. Welcome any questions.
Any questions? Yeah, that's really good. If you could retire tomorrow, what would you do?
I'm not interested in retiring now. I'm enjoying the task of serving Brampton. It's a challenge that excites and motivates me.
Okay. What will be your pearls of wisdom for the residents of Brampton?
Just we're going to learn through this period of adversity. We're going to get through it, and down the road we're going to talk about this interesting year and how we all managed it together. But support each other, support your neighbors, and we are going to get through this.
Wonderful. So, Mayor Brown, thank you for taking out time and talking to the Voice of Canada.
I'm happy to. I've got a good friend who tells me that you're his favorite TV show. So I didn't want to miss an opportunity to go on his favorite TV show.
Pleasure to have you with us.
Okay, thank you.
Sanjay Pava, Editor-in-Chief, The Voice of Canada News Publications. For more information, news, updates, please log on to www.thevoiceofcanada.online. For advertisements and other information, call 647 355 3300. Thank you.